Hello everyone, my name is Barry Dahl, Teaching and Learning Advocate at D2L. 45 years ago, I was a master's student at ASU when the accounting department chair asked if I was interested in teaching some classes. Over that Christmas break, I prepped to teach management accounting to a bunch of people only a couple of years younger than myself. That started my career in education. The first place I ever taught was on the tennis courts in Cheyenne, Wyoming. For me, teaching has always been a rewarding experience. If it isn't rewarding for you, you're doing it wrong. No offense. A favorite quote: "A good teacher is like a candle, consuming itself to light the way for others." Miss Canfield, second grade teacher, episode 1, Leave It to Beaver. It was super easy to find teaching jobs in accounting. I had my choice of jobs in fun places. After Arizona State, I taught at FAU in Boca Raton, a short pit stop at Pitt, then on the shores of Lake Superior at the University of Minnesota Duluth. Then I found my home at my first community college, Lake Superior College in Duluth. I finally found my people. After 17 years teaching accounting, I gave up my tenure to become a college administrator. Yeah, no, don't do that. In 2003, I chaired the committee in the Minnesota state system that chose D2L as the new LMS. In 2012, I took a job at D2L. So over the past 22 years, I've had various experiences with this company and watched D2L grow from about 35 employees to what it is today. Work long enough and the conversations circle back on themselves. I've been talking about internet-based education for almost 30 years now. It's exhausting to think back on some of those topics that were big in their day. We engaged in extended conversations about the LMS being a walled garden and the need to break out of the LMS in order to have free thought and expression. Yeah, that never happened. A big chunk of my career was spent working on the questions around quality in online education. From trying to define what we mean by that phrase, to trying to shift the sole focus away from course design and to focus more on the levels of teaching and learning that are occurring in the various online courses. I created this triangle graphic over 15 years ago, and it became one of my calling cards. For students who choose online courses, why do they do that? Lots of survey data suggests the answer. All of their top reasons have to do with flexibility, time flexibility to be specific. However, Quality Matters rubrics, as well as other course design standards, never look at how much time flexibility you have built into your course, and yet it's critically important to student success. The words we use, the words we choose, they matter. Abraham Lincoln told the story of a boy who was asked how many legs his calf would have if he called his tail a leg. The boy replied 5, to which the prompt response was made that calling a tail a leg would not make it a leg. Words matter, so here's a reminder about what certain words mean. Interactive learning is awesome, but saying that everything is interactive is not awesome. For example, hey, watch this interactive video, or these animated talking heads are so interactive. No, they're not. You cannot interact with an inanimate object. Animation does not equal interaction, and individual action is not interaction. Just stop it. Calling it interactive doesn't make it interactive. For 25 years now, I've railed against the term best practices. It makes me crazy every time I hear this because the practices are not always good, let alone the best. Every time I hear the phrase best practices, I flip a little switch in my brain that converts the phrase into practices that don't totally suck. That's very different from best, and certainly more accurate. Calling it best doesn't make it best. From approximately 02 to 08, my most popular presentations were about using free web-based tools within the LMS. During that time, I paid almost no attention to the web accessibility concerns of the various tools I was using. Around 2010, I finally saw the light. Since then, I've focused on improving accessibility in online courses, including the Web Accessibility MOOC for Online Educators, or WAMO. At D2L, I've had lots of great travel opportunities. Twice to Australia, twice to London and other parts of Europe. Over 30 trips to wonderful Canada. I hosted over 80 connection events in great places with great people. I chaired the Fusion Steering Committee for about the last 10 years. This is my 18th and final Fusion conference. It's all about the friendships, especially the friendships. Looking back on my career and my life, I realize just how lucky I've been. A middle-class upbringing in a stable two-parent family, I started exploring new horizons at 18 and now have lived in 15 different cities and 7 states. Eventually met and married my wife for life. Fell into an unplanned career in education, helped bring 3 kids into the world, and I'm comfortable enough in my own skin to ease into retirement with very few regrets. A former D2L friend of mine penned a little ditty about the moose on her way out the door. Credit to Cat W back in 2018, and I quote, I have come to terms with the fact that no matter how angry, unintelligent, ugly, or brutish an animal is in real life, if you make it small and fuzzy, people will go ape for it. And that brings me to the end. My advice to you. My advice to you. Don't ever, for any reason, do anything for anyone, for any reason, ever, no matter what, no matter where, or who you are with, or where you are going, or where you've been, ever, for any reason whatsoever. That's Michael Scott, The Office, Season 5. Goodbye.